Good afternoon, and welcome to today's New York City Council hearing from the Subcommittee on Landmarks, Public Sittings, and Dispositions. At this point, I'd like to remind everyone to please silence their electronic devices, and at no point going forward is anyone to approach the dais. Chair, we are ready to begin.
Take two. Good afternoon. Welcome to the meeting of the Subcommittee on Landmarks, Public Siting, and Dispositions. I'm Councilmember Christopher Marte, and I'll be the acting chair of the subcommittee today. Before we begin with today's agenda, I will remind everyone that this meeting is being held in a hybrid format. For members of the public who wish to testify remotely, we ask that you first register online, and you may do so now by visiting www.council.nyc.gov/landuse to sign up, and then sign into the Zoom and remain signed in until you have testified. For anyone with us today in person and wishing to testify, if you have not already done so, please see one of our Sergeant of Arms to fill out a speaker's card, and we will call your name at the appropriate time. For anyone wishing to submit written testimony on the items being heard today, we ask that you please send it via email to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov, including the LU number and or the project name in the subject line of your email. Video and audio testimonies will not be accepted. I will remind members of the public that this is a government proceeding and that decorum shall be observed at all times. As such, members of the public shall remain silent unless and until called to testify. The witness table is reserved for people who wish to testify. No video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recording as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recording to the sergeant for inclusion in the hearing record. Today we will hold 3 hearings. A joint hearing on the applications by the Landmarks and Preservation Commission for 5 landmark properties in Midtown Manhattan, a joint hearing on the applications by the Department of Parks concerning acquisition authority for parkland in Queens Community District 3 and Brooklyn Community District 5, and an application by HPD concerning Praise Tabernacle, a property located in Queens. We will now hold a public hearing for LU 433, Praise Tabernacle, an application brought by Housing Preservation and Development seeking the designation of an urban development action area and the approval of an urban development action area project to facilitate the conservation of an existing community facility in Speaker Adams District in Queens. Appearing today on this proposal are Kevin Paris, Duncan Miller, and Lamar Bailey. Those wishing to testify remotely must register online by visiting the council website at council.nyc.gov/landuse. Panelists, please ensure that your microphones are on, which is indicated by the light. Council, would you please administer the affirmation?
Panelists, would you please raise your right hand and state your name for the record?
Duncan Miller.
Lamont Bailey.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before the subcommittee and in answer to all council member questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, applicant panelists. For the viewing public, if you need an accessible version of this presentation, please send an email request to landuse.testimony@council.nyc.gov. And now applicants team may begin. Before we begin, I want to recognize Councilmember Salam. You guys can proceed.
Thank you very much, Councilmember. My name is Duncan Miller. I'm with HPD, and I'm here to present on Praise Tabernacle. Today we have a brief presentation. We'll go over a background of the project and the proposed land use actions, and I'll turn it over to my partner, Lamont Bailey, who will discuss a bit of information about Praise Tabernacle and the benefits of the actions to the church and the community. Next slide, please. So the Praise Tabernacle Church is located in Jamaica, Queens, at the corner of Sutphin Boulevard and 108th Avenue. The existing church building sits across 2 different lots, Block 10141, lots 54 and Lot 87, which is highlighted in red. Lot 87 is owned by HPD, and Lot 54 is owned by the church. The remaining portion of Lot 87 that is not occupied by the church is vacant. Next slide, please. As you can see here, HPD as a housing agency explored the potential for developing housing on the vacant portion of the site, but ultimately determined that this was infeasible. As you can see in the image, the vacant portion is very narrow. There's only around 30 feet between the existing church building and the property line, which is demarcated by the fence. Due to rear and side yard zoning requirements and the existing rear and basement entrances to the church building, ultimately housing is infeasible. And so because of this, HPD is seeking to convey Lot 87 to conserve the existing community facility use. Next slide, please. For a bit of background as to how this lot came to be in this condition today. In 1940, the existing church building was constructed and sat across lots 54 and the previous lot 79, which is outlined in blue. Fast forward to 1984, the city acquired lot 79 in Rem due to back taxes, and this lot was included in the South Jamaica Urban Renewal Plan, Second Amendment, and subsequently subdivided into lots 79, 80, 83, 85, and 87. Most of these lots, aside from lot 87, were conveyed and redeveloped as new homes. And lot 87 today remains in HPD ownership and undeveloped, of course, aside from the portion occupied by the church. Next slide, please. And so HPD is seeking the designation of an urban development action area and the approval of an urban development action area project. And next slide. I will now turn it over to my partner, Lamont Bailey, who will discuss Praise Tabernacle.
Good afternoon. Next slide, please. I can't really say. I'll this way. Praise Tabernacle was established in 1979. It's a independent church. It meets weekly, has weekly services as well as midweek services as well. Its community services include after-school care, a youth program, Overcomers Fellowship, and events such as weddings and funerals. It also has a school of urban ministry. Praise Tabernacle is not only inward, but is outward and serves the community. Many community organizations use the hall to have their meetings. Non-members can have funerals when their churches or the locations are too small for a funeral, and the same thing for weddings and weddings receptions. And community organizations also meet at the church. That's how Praise Tabernacle not only supports its own members, but supports the community. The benefits of the proposed action is this will allow Praise Tabernacle to make improvements to its church facility. Also, it gives it financial benefits as it will be able to finance and expand and improve the facility. It also gives Praise Tabernacle and its members future viability and certainty. Not having ownership of a part of the church edifice is a problem for the congregation. And I talked about the community benefits already, the community outreach programs, community events, the after-school programs, and weddings and funerals. Thank you.
We're now available to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
I want to recognize Majority Leader Amanda Farias. Do we have any questions? No questions from us. Do you have anything else? Or
That's it today. Thank you very much.
Council, are there any members of the public who wish to testify on this item?
No, there are not.
You guys are excused.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There being no other members. There being no other members of the public who wish to testify regarding the public hearing on LU 433 for Praise Tabernacle, the public hearing is now closed and the item is laid over. We will now hold the joint public hearing on several applications brought by Landmarks Preservation Commission for a landmark designation for the following properties: LU 415, Barbie building, a designation of a building in a Renaissance revival style with terracotta ornaments located at 1517 West 38th in Councilmember Powers District in Manhattan. LU 416, 27th Street Tower, a designation of a pair of connected 14 and 16-story Gothic revival style commercial buildings located at 214 to 22 West 29th Street in Councilmember Botcher's District in Manhattan. LU 417 Fashion Tower, a designation of the 20-story garment industry showroom and the office building displaying Renaissance Revival and Art Deco style elements located at 135 West 36th Street in Councilmember Botcher's District in Manhattan. LU 418 Furcraft Building, a designation of a building with neoclassical designs and prominent Fox sculptures located at 242, 246 West 30th Street in Councilmember Botcher's District in Manhattan. LU 419 Left Court Clothing Center, a 27-story Art Deco loft building located at 275 7th Avenue in Councilmember Botcher's District in Manhattan. These properties all have connections to the garment district and the city's history in fashion and garment industry. Appearing today on this proposals on behalf of the city's Department of Landmarks Preservation Commission are Stephen Thompson and Margaret Herman. Those wishing to testify remotely must register online by visiting council website at council.nyc.gov/land use. Panelists, please ensure that your microphones are on, which is indicated by the light. Council, please administer the affirmation.
Panelists, would you please raise your right hand and state your names for the record?
Margaret Herman.
Stephen Thompson.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before the subcommittee and in answer to all council member questions?
I do.
I do.
Thank you, applicant. You guys may proceed.
Good afternoon. My name is Margaret Herman, Director of Research at the Landmarks Preservation Commission. Thank you for the opportunity to present our recent individual landmark designations in Midtown South. On August 12th, 2025, next slide, please. Sorry. On August 12th, 2025, the New York City Landmarks Preservation Commission voted to designate 5 buildings in Midtown South Manhattan as individual landmarks: the Barbie Building, Fashion Tower, the Furcraft Building, 29th Street Towers, and the Left Court Clothing Center. These buildings were identified as part of LPC's Midtown South Initiative, a comprehensive study of LPC's work in the neighborhood that began in 2023 in coordination with the Department of City Planning's Midtown South Mixed Use Plan. As part of this initiative, our research staff studied the area's history, previous survey work, and LPC designations, and analyzed the significance and condition of approximately 90 buildings. We then developed a framework to illustrate the area's historic development patterns to identify thematic gaps that could be addressed through new designations. We found that although LPC's previous designations covered a range of historical eras in Midtown South, including the mid-19th century residential period and the neighborhood's history as an entertainment district and business center in the early 20th century, LPC's designations mostly did not include the key period from around 1910 to 1930 when Midtown South transformed into the Garment Center. To address this gap in our designations, LPC's initiative identified 5 potential landmarks that capture this important Garment Center chapter in the neighborhood's history. The buildings are impressive examples of early 20th century commercial architecture designed by some of the city's leading architects, which help to tell the full story of the Garment District's historic development. LPC worked closely with the Department of City Planning, elected officials, and key stakeholders and the community throughout the process, and we met with every property owner, and we were thrilled to designate these 5 buildings in August. Next slide. The Barbie Building at 15 to 17 West 38th Street was built in 1908 to 1909. Designed by architectural firm of Delano and Aldrich, the Barbie Building was one of the earliest tall loft buildings in Midtown, setting the stage for the development of an entire neighborhood that would become the center for the fashion and garment industries. On May 20th, 2025, the Landmarks Preservation Commission held a public hearing on the proposed designation of the Barbie Building as an individual landmark. Representatives of the Historic Districts Council, New York Landmarks Conservancy, and the Art Deco Society of New York spoke in support of designation. No one spoke in opposition. Next slide. The Barbie Building is located on West 38th Street near 5th Avenue, and the landmark site is the tax lot. Next slide. The building's cladding is dark red brick and terracotta, accenting the facade with stylish classical ornament. A distinctive decorative panel at the top displays the construction date in raised Roman numerals. The building's sophisticated facade design foreshadow later commercial and industrial skyscrapers. Next slide. Over the years, the building housed many kinds of companies, including garment factories, publishing firms, and architectural offices. From 1985 to 2019, the building served as the corporate headquarters for the Lord & Taylor department store located around the corner, and is now home to a variety of commercial tenants. Next slide. The Barbie Building today remains an outstanding example of one of the earliest tall loft buildings constructed in what became the Midtown Garment Center. Next slide. Fashion Tower is a 20-story commercial building in Manhattan's Garment Center, designed by architect Emery Roth and built in 1924 to 1925. The building stands out in the neighborhood for its distinctive blend of medieval, Renaissance, and Art Deco styles, and decoration at the base that expresses the building's connection to the garment industry. On May 20th, 2025, LPC held a public hearing on the proposed designation of Fashion Tower as an individual landmark. A representative of the building's owner spoke in opposition, while representatives of the Historic Districts Council and the New York Landmarks Conservancy spoke in support of designation. Next slide. Fashion Tower is located on West 36th Street near Broadway, and the proposed landmark site is the tax lot. Next slide. Fashion Tower's ribbed piers rise without interruption from a multi-story base to setbacks at the upper floors. Decoration on the lower floors include colorful terracotta peacocks, feathery symbols of fashion and vanity at the freight and lobby entrances, while the floors above feature the building's name flanked by winged angels holding fabric shears and artist brushes. The use of such business-related symbolism is rare in the Garment Center. Next slide. With a distinctive decorative scheme evoking its historic use, Fashion Tower is one of the most impressive buildings in the Garment Center. Next slide. Okay. The Furcraft Building is a monument to the section of Manhattan known as the Fur District and to New York's leading role in the international fur business in the 20th century. At the public hearing on May 20th, 2025, representatives of the New York Landmarks Conservancy, Historic Districts Council, Art Deco Society of New York, and Save Chelsea spoke in support of designation, and no one spoke in opposition. Next slide. The Furcraft Building is located on West 30th Street between 7th and 8th Avenues, and the landmark site is the tax lot. Next slide. In the Furcraft Building, architect Henry Oser skillfully blended the setback requirements of the zoning code with the neoclassical style. Much of his ornament is at the ground story, where a bronze and terracotta entrance is topped with 2 alert foxes. These foxes are perhaps the most striking reminder of the business of the old fur district. Next slide. Today, the Furcraft Building houses a variety of commercial tenants while continuing to recall an industry with a rich and complex history in which New York once led the world. Next slide. The 29th Street Towers was also built for the fur industry and is an architecturally significant reminder of this part of New York's garment trade. At the public hearing on May 20th, 2025, representatives of the New York Landmarks Conservancy, Historic Districts Council, Art Deco Society of New York, and Save Chelsea spoke in support of designation. No one spoke in opposition. Next slide. The 2 connected buildings of 214 and 226 West 29th Street are located between 7th and 8th Avenues. The landmark site consists of both tax lots. Next slide. Also designed by architect Henry Oser, here he created an unusual arrangement of setbacks, alternating both the bays and widths of the setbacks, resulting in a visual interest that's uniform across the two towers. Next slide. The structures are tied together by a variegated terracotta cladding across the entire first story, framing the entrance and historic iron storefronts. Sculptures alternate on either side of the entrance, featuring a man feeding a beaver, then inspecting its pelt, symbolic of the work done in the building and in the broader fur industry. Next slide. The 29th Street Towers recalls New York City's fur trade history, and its unique decoration and unusual setbacks make the building an important example of Garment Center architecture. Next slide. And finally, the Left Court Clothing Center is a 27-story Art Deco loft building in the Garment District, designed by Eli Jacques Kahn of the firm of Buckman & Kahn. At the public hearing on May 20th, 2025, representatives of Community Board 4, New York Landmarks Conservancy, the Historic Districts Council, Art Deco Society of New York, and Save Chelsea spoke in support of designation. No one spoke in opposition. Next slide. The Left Court Clothing Center is located at 275 7th Avenue between West 25th and West 26th Street, and the landmark site is the tax lot. Next slide. Eli Jacques was a prominent New York City architect working in the Art Deco style. He used patterned brickwork and decorative cast iron window enfraiments in the Left Court Clothing Center to create eye-catching geometric ornament across the facade. Next slide. Along with garment manufacturers and showrooms, one of the most important tenants of the Left Court Clothing Center was the International Ladies Garment Workers Union. One benefit the ILGWU provided to members was its health center, which moved into the 25th floor of the Left Court Clothing Center in 1935. Next slide. In 1945, the ILGWU bought the entire building at 275 7th Avenue, occupying 5 floors and leasing out the rest to tenants. Today, the Left Court Clothing Center is still owned by the union, which is now known as Unite Here and represents workers in the garment and hospitality industries. Next slide. The Left Court Clothing Center reflects the important history of both the garment industry and union history in the neighborhood. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions about these designations.
There's no questions from our side, and I don't believe there's any. Oh. We excuse the applicant too.
Great. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna recognize Councilmember Nurse and relinquish my powers. Let her continue.
Sorry, we've had musical chairs today. We're going to call up Richard Lobel and Kenneth L.
What's that? Oh, no, this is just notes. That's your power button when you need to talk. It should be Dan Russo, who said he's in the waiting room.
Can I get a cup?
Sure. Have you found him? If you could, it's kind of important. All right.
They can go first, no?
He says yes, he still hasn't been let in. Should I have him log out and log in again?
We're still working out this side of the building.
Right. The tech's great. He's going to rejoin.
Okay, great. Oops.
2 minutes or 3 minutes?
Two.
Two
Let's
per
do
person.
that.
Two per person. Yeah.
2 per person. Got it. Thank you.
Sorry, they still don't see him.
He'd rejoin. He's going to dial in.
Okay, mine. You want me to start? Okay. Okay.
Would it help to resend the link to him?
Yeah. You will resend the link? I'm pretty sure he's going to make it right now, but why don't you just in case?
We're just not seeing him. Is there a, I don't actually have the link. What? Is there a link that we can use? Yeah.
The meeting ID they sent me doesn't exist. It won't connect me by dial-in. I'm in the Zoom waiting room.
Maybe you can just call your phone and you can hold it up to the
Do that.
microphone. Just is it,
Technically.
or does that not record onto the system?
Give us a sec.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We'll wait like 2 more minutes. The email was sent to
Okay. He hasn't received it yet. Oh, here we go. The meeting ID doesn't work. The link's bad. Zoom is saying it's an invalid meeting. Oh. The new email I got from Nicole Sandy. Nicholas Sandy. Sandy Nicholas. Okay, good. That's like what?
Maybe we should have a backup conference phone. Conference phone right on the table.
I can't even dial set. So,
I feel like ever since we moved on this side, there's been some stuff. I was in a hearing the other day where like all the mics went haywire, and then like they couldn't get the.
okay.
mic stream back on.
Do you want me to try it? I can put my phone on speaker and see if if you can hear him, then he's going to be going third.
Checking about the legality.
Oh,
We can't take testimony that way.
okay.
Yeah.
We got a pickle.
Is he able to listen? If he's able to listen to the live stream, maybe he can text you anything that is a specific question for him.
Yeah, so,
No, but if he's just reading his text,
Has he
it'd be the
submitted it
same
yet,
thing
or-
as getting a note from.
okay, so we've got written testimony we can submit from him.
Okay, great.
mean-
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you figure it out before the end of today, we could reopen it.
Oh, great. Okay.
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 So we can begin.
Who's first? You.
Okay, thanks. If you want to let me know when to start. Good afternoon, Richard Lobel of Sheldon Lobel. I'm here on behalf of 135 West 36th Street. And very briefly, with regards to the 5 matters that are before the council today, 4 of those had no opposition. We do present opposition here, and there's very good reasons, and Ken's going to talk about his family, their history in the Garment Center, their ownership of this building for decades. But basically, there's a few discrete points we would make as far as why we really strongly contest the landmarking here. The first is that it conflicts with very important citywide priorities. The Midtown South rezoning, which was approved in August 2025, one of the goals of that was to produce housing and, importantly, affordability. We have a building here which is ready to be converted to housing, specifically over 120 units of market rate housing, or of housing generally, and over 30 units of affordable housing. Very real goals, and Dan Ruzzo's testimony will support that this would make it increasingly difficult to do so. The second is the weak architectural case posed by landmarks, which is basically that this is a valuable Emery Roth building. This building was not even cited in the most recent Architects Institute of America guide in citing Emery Roth's work within the city. They cited 40 of his works. This one was not even included. It just doesn't have the architectural import. Third, the facade here that is described by landmarks as being eye-catching, and the peacocks which were called out, those were the result of Ken's hard work on the building in 2015. Without any type of input from landmarks whatsoever, he basically spent the time and care to restore that facade. In fact, the peacocks that are cited in the report are not even 30 years old, which is a requirement for landmarking. And briefly, the last 2 points is that Ken has been a responsible owner, as he will tell you. There is no need to landmark this building. And finally, that the building itself is overbuilt. The overbuilt condition is by 25,000 square feet. He can't demolish this building, nor would he want to. This building has an important history in his family, and it's something that he wishes to preserve. And indeed, when nobody was watching, he did so. So with that, I would ask that the chair and the committee strongly consider this as being the only landmarked issue today which did not receive building-specific testimony in favor. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the subcommittee. Thank you for the opportunity to present. My name is Kenneth Lee, and my family has owned the building since 2002. My family's history is interwoven with that of the Garment District. We moved here in 1975, like thousands of other immigrants, and we made it from basically nothing. In 2002, we bought the building. Since 1981, our family has operated a garment and fashion business in New York City, and that building has served as our headquarters for our business. We oppose the landmark designation of the building. When we purchased the building, its original ground floor had been completely stripped away. In 2012, I studied urban studies at Brown, and I dug up the original drawings myself, and me and my friend, we restored the original kind of 1920s building. The original terracotta peacocks, which they cited, I bought them myself and then restored it to its original building. My goal then, as it is now, is to celebrate the fashion district while maintaining the economic viability of a building that has been so meaningful to my family's story. The fact is, like many buildings in the Garment District, our building is no longer a bustling manufacturing hub. Midtown South rezoning provides an opportunity for this building, which is not profitable right now, to respond to market forces and deliver needed housing. The landmark designation came at the exact same time as Midtown South rezoning, which I've been waiting for 10 years. As the committee likely knows, this conversion of commercial buildings to residential is challenging. Our building is overbuilt, so it's in no danger of demolition, and we'd reallocate a significant amount of floor area to comply with the rear yard requirements. However, this LPC designation makes it 30% more expensive to make this building into residential, which would make it impossible for a family-owned company like myself to even do this, creating more housing for the city. While I appreciate the city's recognition of our facade restoration, which I did myself, I can't help but feel as though my family is now being punished for doing the right thing for our building and our community, as well as being an original, or not an original, but a garment fashion district family that has been there for over 20 years.
I have a couple questions, and sorry I wasn't here earlier. I am on this committee, but I had a bill in another hearing, and I missed their testimony. You're saying that the designation would increase the cost by 30%. of renovating or doing the conversion.
Yeah.
Have you started a process of assessing that?
Yeah, we have an architect
And
and
what
we
is
have
that 30% differential?
a lot of time, and then there needs to be a 5 yard setback, and then there are currently, since it touches the facade, since the LPC designation will make facade, it will make getting approval for that facade pretty much impossible. And then there's a lot of additional time. I think another 12 to 14 months is what Dan, the architect on the Zoom, kind of calculated for us. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Dan, do you want to chime in with some testimony?
Sure. Hello, Council. Thank you for your time today.
Hold
Regarding the
on 1
cost,
second. I want to make sure the audio is working well. I know my mic is on.
can the committee?
Oh,
can you-
okay. Okay, go
Can
ahead.
the committee hear me? Oh, all right. Thank you everyone for your time today. Regarding cost basis and how that analysis arises, under a designation, we'll obviously assume that this project will be a commission level approval. We'll have obviously the public hearing components. We were looking to go in and file and begin the work product almost immediately. Once we do that, that would probably put us at a filing with landmarks just before summer, and getting into the DOB equally just before summer. We tend to do both filings simultaneously, as the two want to run hand in hand. When filing with landmarks, there tends to be a delay, typically through the summer period, in order to obtain any type of a commission approval. We expect that there's going to be a delay there. That's been our experience over multiple years in dealing with the LPC and in terms of our filings with the LPC. So we'll have a delay there. On top of that, the commission level approval will require a mock-up. We'll have to do a mock-up of the relocated floor area. City of Yes has been great, and it's really going to help this district tremendously, and many districts throughout the city that are looking to do a conversion of this type. And it has relaxed the regulations, but we still have to make the building comply with light and air, whereas it previously would not have. A residential just requires a light and air, especially on the rear facade, once that is programmed. So we would have to remove a minimum of 5 feet, and more precisely, probably closer to 10 feet off the rear of the building. That floor area would then be relocated to the top of the building, as it is overbuilt, and we are allowed to maintain it as long as we do it under the same application. And we would need to maintain it in order for the metrics of the project to work under an adaptive reuse. Once that floor area is relocated, we need to do a mock-up with the landmarks to show them sight lines. The mock-up is done in a temporary construction that would just identify what the proposed new bulk of the building would be. That would be subject to the commission's approval and review as to whether they will accept the new bulk. So that raises a specter of uncertainty on whether the relocated floor area will be accepted. It also raises the issue of time. We equate a landmarks process for approval to an increase in approval time of roughly 8 months, and even as much as 1 year in order to obtain the approval. And then a lender looks at it as an additional risk, an additional unknown that they don't know, as it is a discretionary approval, and there's no way we can say whether or not it would be accepted for the project. We can look at the DOB code, and we can look at the building code requirements, both in terms of zoning code and building code, and those are pretty black and white. The designation process, again, just raises the concern that it is a discretionary process, and now we're discussing whether or not the new construction would make sense, whether it fits within the existing, et cetera, et cetera. So that the mock-up alone would cost nearly $200,000 of additional cost on the project.
I'm sorry,
And
I
then
just, because we're a little bit
Sure,
over time
yes.
for the time of testimony, my question was,
I'm sorry.
about the cost difference. I mean, all projects have mock-ups that I've ever
Sure.
seen, so that's not a new cost to you.
This is a large, this is a, all projects, all landmark projects have mock-ups. if you're not landmarked, you don't have a mock-up. So in that
You
case,
still need to go through a process of designing the building. I was
correct,
just asking, what
correct,
was the cost difference? You're saying there's a 30% cost, that would
correct,
be incurred above and beyond what is normal. So
correct.
that was my question. If you don't have that answer, that's fine. I was just
It is a
asking.
30. So it is a 30% cost based on the time that it takes to get us through the commission process and the approval
Understood.
process and the construction of
Okay.
the mock-up.
Understood. And I can't bring landmarks up at this point because of the way the hearings are structured. I can? Okay, sorry. You know, we just started here today. I did have a question to landmarks. Do you all provide grants? Can I bring someone up? Just one. It's just one question. Or I'm not gonna badger. I just was curious if you all have financial assistance or grant programs for the extraordinary additional costs that construction in a landmarks building provides.
We do have a small grant program. I think that's mostly, for nonprofits and things like that. There's also state programs like tax credits and things of that nature. But just to respond somewhat to that testimony, I can't speak to the specifics of this particular project.
Well, I don't mean to go through a back and forth because I'm just bringing you up to ask a specific question, and I don't think that would be fair to
Understood.
But if I would request in the follow-up if you could provide any financial assistance or any type of financial relief that could be available to the owner or the developer in this process. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.
And lastly, you're looking to do housing. Is any of this going to be affordable? Is there an MIH in here?
Yeah.
There is MIH.
Okay.
So, sorry. There is MIH. Of the proposed 120 units, roughly 25% of those, or 30 units, greater than 30 units, would be affordable, which is, I think, one of the reasons that we were excited about moving forward with this.
Okay, so there will be. And then understanding that, this building was constructed in 1924. You've all had it for 25?
2002.
Okay, whatever, so my math, like 23 years?
Oh man.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's why I was afraid to say it out loud. I was like, I don't want to look. Okay, so I mean, I think, look, I know there are neighborhoods clamoring to get landmark status for some of their beautiful buildings. These buildings are important to the history of New York City. I understand what you're laying out here. But I definitely want to make sure we have an understanding of what is available to you to help with the cost of that. I understand the timeline makes it more costly because you have to pay people for a longer amount of time. But hopefully we can get that follow-up, which I think would just be helpful for consideration.
Just as a final point, I grew up my whole life in fashion. My aunties are all sewing workers from Chinatown, from the garment district. We've restored that building to the fashion character it is. It will never go away as I own the building.
Do you have plans, and maybe your architect can answer this? I mean, I know I have a building in my district that they preserved the front facade and still were able to put, like the modern, ugly looking, fast going up towers behind it. But do you have plans in that?
It's already overbuilt, so we wouldn't touch any of the front. It's already, if you touch it, you can't build it.
Okay, understood. Okay, I don't have any further questions unless there were questions the other chair had. Okay, well, being that there's no one else, thank you so much for your testimony.
Thank you, Chair.
There are no other members of the public who wish to testify regarding this joint public hearing on land use item 415 through 419 for the landmark designation of Barbie Building, 29th Street Towers, Fashion Tower, Furcraft Building, and Le Court Clothing Center. The public hearing is now closed and the items are laid over. Thank you so much. We will now hold a joint public hearing for Land Use 420 Brooklyn Community District 5 Site Selection and Acquisition and Land Use for Item 421 Queens Community District 3 Site Selection and Acquisition. These applications are brought by the Department of Parks and Recreation along with DCAS for approval of city acquisition and site selection of privately owned properties for future park development in Brooklyn Community District 5 and in Queens Community District 3. These proposals seek to create new parkland to increase access to open space, resources for neighborhoods located in my district, as well as Councilmember Banks in Brooklyn and Councilmembers Caban, Krishnan, and Moya's district in Queens. Appearing today in this panel are Colleen Alderson, Elizabeth Ernish, and Matt Drury. Those wishing to testify remotely must register online by visiting the council's website at council.nyc.gov/land use. Panelists, please ensure that your microphone is on, which is indicated by the light. Council, would you please administer the affirmation?
Panelists, would you please raise your right hand and state your names for the record?
Colleen Alderson.
Elizabeth Ernish.
Matt Drury.
And do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this subcommittee and in answer to all council member questions?
I do.
I do.
I do.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Good afternoon, Chair Nurse and members of the subcommittee. My name is Colleen Alderson. I'm the Chief of Parklands and Real Estate, part of the Environment and Planning Division at New York City Parks. I'm joined by my colleague Elizabeth Ernish, a project administrator for the planning unit, and also Matt Drury, the Director of Government Relations for New York City Parks. Next slide. I'm here to present to the committee parks applications to site select and acquire parcels for future park development in Brooklyn Community District 5 and Queens Community District 3. New York City Parks is the applicant with DCAS as the co-applicant. These applications are part of an effort to address some of the most underserved neighborhoods in the city in terms of public open space. Next slide. As we are all aware, parks are critical infrastructure for urban areas. Beyond places to rest and recreate, parks provide necessary space for social connections, environmental benefits like cleaner air and resilience to climate-related disasters, physical and mental health benefits for New York City residents. These factors inform parks pursuing a new strategy to realize new parks in underserved communities. Next slide. Many citywide plans and policies advocate for the importance and creation of new parks, particularly in underserved areas. One NYC set the goal of 85% of New Yorkers living within a walk to a park by 2030. The Mayor's Office Get Stuff Built report contained a specific initiative encouraging New York City parks to pursue a new type of ULURP authorization for land acquisition using criteria-based triggers. Next slide. Regarding the One NYC goal of 85% of New Yorkers living within a walk to a park by 2030, we're currently at 84.2%, which sounds healthy, but that means that there are still 1.4 million New Yorkers in gap areas, those areas in red on the citywide map. These are New Yorkers not in a walking distance to a public open space. A park in an appropriate walking distance from where people live is a key indicator in determining if people are accessing a park for all the benefits they provide. We also believe this focused effort will help address the availability of parkland within densely populated areas that may not have a walk to a park gap area, but address the downward trend of the city's median open space ratio. The open space ratio, it's a measure of how much open space per 1,000 residents, is at a citywide median of 1.14, while in 2017 it was 1.4 and higher years prior. Next slide. Vital Parks for All is Parks' current focused effort to improve the quality of our parks network throughout the city. It is an investment strategy that provides transparency through a mapping tool and assesses the quality and quantity of existing park resources to determine where the agency should direct its funding and resources. Next slide. Growing green spaces is our focus area in Vital Parks for All to expand access to park resources in underserved areas. This has been carried out through a partnership in part with the Department of Education, working towards opening up more schoolyards that are available to the communities outside of school operating hours. We've also partnered with Nycc to create new public access areas on campuses targeting underserved areas. 3 have been completed in Queens and 1 in Brooklyn. Next slide. Despite these initiatives to expand park access and the extent of New Yorkers beyond a walking distance to a park, we still face significant hurdles to creating needed public open space. One of the most significant challenges we face is the length of the ULURP process, which is around 2 to 3 years from the onset of identifying of potential properties for park development to the actual closing of the contract of acquiring the property from a seller. This ULURP effort aims to assist in the city's acquisition approval process in the context of limited vacant available land, property owners not being aware the city is interested and serious about acquiring land for parks, that long-term line that I spoke about, and also the inability to negotiate with property owner before ULURP approval. Most sellers are not willing to wait the time it takes to get through ULURP to start to negotiate. Next slide. The neighborhood scale ULURP project was prompted by that Get Stuff Built initiative that I mentioned earlier. This project aims to provide the required acquisition land use approval for a number of pre-identified sites suitable for parkland development and enable us to enter directly into negotiations with willing sellers. Having ULURP approval in hand, we can shorten the acquisition process to realize new parks for underserved communities. I'm going to now turn it over to Elizabeth Ernish to go over the details of the applications. Thank you.
Slide, please. In discussions with the Department of City Planning, we decided the community district would be the most appropriate scale for identifying the most underserved areas of the city. We developed two primary criteria to identify which community districts to include in this project. We looked at the walk to park analysis, that a community district must have more than 15,000 people living in a walk to park gap per square mile. And then secondly, we looked at districts where the open space ratio is below 1.3 or the poverty rate is higher than the city average of 17.9. Based on this criteria, we identified 19 community districts. Slide, please. In Queens Community District 3, over 50,000 residents are in underserved areas, and the open space ratio is low at 0.91, and poverty is at 22.3. In Brooklyn's Community District 5, over 25,000 residents are in underserved areas, and the poverty rate meets the criteria at 27.7. Slide, please. Both additional community district context. Both districts have parks with limited operating hours, such as schoolyards and community gardens, which aren't accessible throughout the day. Also, the recent community need statements for both districts requested more parks and recreational spaces. In Queens Community District 3, parks can help mitigate flooding in these neighborhoods and reduce harmful air pollutants, especially along traffic-heavy avenues such as Northern Boulevard. In Brooklyn Community District 5, there's been ongoing development following the East New York rezoning approved in 2016, with about 4,000 more housing units currently underway. Slide, please. Now that we've identified the districts for our ULURPs, we developed a criteria for identifying potential sites for the parkland development. Privately owned Pluto Land Use Code 11, vacant. Lots at least 5,000 square feet or an assemblage of multiple lots equaling 5,000 square feet. A viable site for park development. No active DOB permits indicating development and construction. And in the lower right, you can see this is an example of such a site in Community District 5. Slide, please. This is a map of the primary sites in Brooklyn Community District 5, and based on our criteria, there are 7. Slide. This is an example of a vacant site in Community District 5, which is surrounded by housing development. Slide. Here's another example of a vacant site in the Jewel Street neighborhood plan, also in Community District 5. Slide. This map depicts the location of primary sites through Queens Community District 3. And as you can see, there are only 5 primary sites. Slide. Here's an example of one of those sites. It's a vacant lot on 97th Street. Slide. This is St. Mark's Church site. A portion of that lot currently operates as a playground, and we're very interested in acquiring it. There's also a lot of community support for this site, as you can see by the community board's recommendation. Slide. However, given these criteria, we're left with relatively few primary sites. To expand our options, we developed a secondary site criteria. The main difference between the primary and secondary sites is that secondary sites are not vacant. They are built up to less than 50% of their maximum allowable floor area ratio. We also limit them to walk-to-park gap areas to directly address the need for parklands. Also, lots with residential uses were excluded. Slide, please. This shows the secondary sites in Brooklyn Community District 5. There are 16. Slide. Here's a secondary site in District 5. It's a car wash on Atlantic Avenue. Slide. Also in Community District 5, this is a manufacturing site with parking along Fulton Street. Slide. And in Queens Community District 3, this map shows secondary sites throughout the district. Based on our criteria, we have 16 sites. Slide. This example shows an Old Navy on 82nd Street. Slide. This is a gas station along Astoria Boulevard. Slide. This slide summarizes the total number of sites that met our criteria. In Brooklyn Community District 5, we have 23 sites, and in Queens Community District 3, we have 21 sites. We do not intend to acquire each of these sites. Just want to provide options should the opportunities arise in the future. Slide. We also wanted to flag that in coordination with the Department of City Planning, we developed a sunset clause of 10 years following the approval date of this ULURP application. That means that the application will expire after the 10-year period, after which parks may choose to submit a new application. Slide. We're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that presentation. I just have a couple questions. No, I just have a couple questions. Could you talk a little bit about the process for engaging owners of the sites?
Sure. We're required through the ULURP process to send letters to each of the owners explaining them when there were hearings for along the ULURP process. Some owners did reach out with a variety of questions. They've never worked with the city selling property, didn't know what a ULURP meant, so basic things like that. Some property owners explaining they might have different plans, saying not at this time. So it did trigger some feedback from the owners over the last few months. And, we'll continue to follow up with them. We've laid out
Those are owners that of the specific
Correct.
lots here. So
Correct.
they've said they've had other plans and they're not interested?
At this time, I know one owner said, a couple of them did say they had different plans, so weren't interested in selling. I did say that, sometimes plans change, we're going to, explain what we're doing with this application.
Okay.
So we have the option if their plans change.
Okay. And for the sites included in this application, when it comes time to acquire, is there any possibility of only taking partial or a piece of the lot, or would you want the whole thing?
It depends on the site. Some sites are very small. We've set forth a minimum 5,000 square feet. So for the larger sites that might be 20,000 square feet, we would be open if they are interested in selling a portion of their site. The St. Mark's property is specifically in the application only for a portion of the site. So we're open to that. 5,000 square feet is our minimum and required as part of the ULURP meeting the criteria.
Yeah. Okay, some of the slides that were in Community District 5 in Brooklyn, I know one of them is literally right behind my office, the car wash. That car wash is pretty new, I believe. And I guess I'm wondering how you're thinking about that in relationship to the two public plazas that are going to be built and the playground that was just renovated.
Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure that owner, I don't believe, has contacted me. So I'm not sure if there's any interest there. And I don't know if you want to speak to the other nearby plaza projects, but if a property owner is not interested, we're not looking to pursue it. We are one requirement, City Planning Commission, should the ULURP application be approved, we will be sending letters again to the owners explaining that we have approval to please be in contact if they're interested.
Yeah. I think beyond a letter, I mean, I'm familiar with the plaza projects. I don't need any explanation on it. I'm just saying it seems pretty in close proximity.
Sure.
So it's doesn't, in my mind, I'm like, just because I walk there all the time to Broadway Junction, like it's not, it's very close.
Understood.
I guess besides just a letter, I feel like a phone call or in-person touch would be important.
Sure.
Given how big that kind of decision is. And then I saw one in an industrial zone, I think on Fulton Street. I personally would be against that. We've worked really hard to preserve manufacturing. We've gone through a whole process with the manufacturing plan of the city, and we're really trying to keep those where they are. So many of them are, a lot of sites are being moved into shelter, which I don't have a problem with shelters, but in a manufacturing space feels weird to place people in. I have a question about a property in Queens Community District 3. The borough president recommended the removal of a particular site, 90-01 23rd Ave, from the secondary parcel list. Can you speak to this request?
Yes, I'm familiar with that. That was one site I believe the community board actually was in favor of. It's a pretty large site. I believe the owner does have different plans, and I think perhaps that was communicated, and that's why the borough president was speaking on that owner's behalf. The City Planning Commission did not reject that site in their review, so I'll just say that. But again, from my conversation at this time, the owner wasn't interested, and we've been specifically charged to looking for willing sellers. So we
Right.
didn't remove it from our application.
Okay. And so what does that mean if you don't remove it from the application, if they're not a willing seller? Just for the record, does that mean this gets approved and that is now?
Well, sometimes people change their plans. So just having the approval, at least we have that in place and we don't have to go through
I
ULURP
see.
again.
Okay.
Kind of thing. So I think that's the idea there.
Okay, I appreciate it. I know I've been briefed on this before by parks. It feels like a decade ago.
Sure,
from
understood,
right now.
understood.
I apologize. I'm trying to keep it all present. Last question about a Brooklyn Community District 5. There is a property 1091 Loring Ave, which was included as a secondary site. It also sits within an industrial business zone boundary, has been cited as a potential area for residential development in the Jewel Streets study area. Can you share where you all have landed on this?
We haven't pulled or written to city planning to pull any sites, so it's still in our application. I think I wasn't aware of that. And I do know that in our discussions with the borough president's office, we spoke about IBZ and we did actually take out some sites, but there was one left in. I'm happy to follow up on this one, but if they have other plans, we wouldn't be pursuing it.
Right. Okay. Those are my only questions. My comment is that, we're always, I appreciate the overall effort to add more parks to the city. We love parks. I think it's the challenge of the maintenance and enforcement in the parks that remains a chronic challenge for at least all my colleagues in Brooklyn, I'm sure in other parts of the city. And I just hope that something like this comes with more resources so that we don't have to call you guys screaming all the time. Okay. Thank you so much for your testimony. You are dismissed.
Thank you.
And I don't believe we have anyone.
There is no one.
There is no testifying. Okay. As there is no one available or interested in testifying regarding this joint public hearing on land use item 420 and land use item 421, the public hearing is now closed and this item is laid over. That concludes today's business. I would like to thank the members of the public, my colleagues, subcommittee council, land use staff, and the Sergeant at Arms for your participation. This meeting is hereby adjourned.